Listen to the sound of footsteps in the dark, to voices that may not be quite human, to the sound of screams in the night. The Haunted Cabaret, the home of all things horror, on Rhode-IslandFreeRadio.org, with your host, George Garner. The Haunted Cabaret starts now.
An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Up on a ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged skies and up a cloudy draw. Their brands were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. Their horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-i-oh, ghost riders in the sky. Their faces gaunt, their eyes were blurred, their shirts all soaked with sweat. He's riding hard to catch that herd, but he ain't caught 'em yet. 'Cause they've got to ride forever on that range up in the sky, on horses snorting fire. As they ride on, hear their cry. As the riders loped on by him, he heard one call his name. If you want to save your soul from hell riding on our range, then cowboy, change your ways. They are with us, you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across these endless skies. Yippee-i-oh, ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky.
All right, that was Johnny Cash, Ghost Riders, kicking off this episode of the Haunted Cabaret here on Rhode Island Free Radio. I am your host, George Garner, momentarily to be joined by Chuckles the Evil Clown, who's, we don't use the word pooping here on the show, Mr. Jones.
You just did.
He is currently indisposed.
He will join us momentarily. With me at the table, Nurse Misery. And no, I'm not abandoning metal for country. No, that's not going to happen. This is a rain in the desert type of thing. That is one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, just the theme of the song alone.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And, of course, it also involves the subject of transitions. You know, and, I don't know, yours truly, you know, I may be transitioning. I don't know, Tony Jones, I may be becoming a Rhode Island exile very soon.
Oh, no.
And joining a long list of people that are just hightailing out of this state.
Yeah, I'm not hightailing far, though. I'll still be able to make it to the studio in about a 45-minute ride.
Well, actually, if you take 116, you might be a little bit closer, and you won't have to go on the highway, and there'll be a lot less potholes.
And a lot less potholes, and I'll miss some of those toll booths that they're going to put up to try to tax me to come back into the state of Rhode Island for a visit to do the show, right?
And if they put up this Xanadu-like 610 connector they want to do here in Rhode Island, you probably want to avoid the whole what will be your former neighborhood.
I may just go in a circle around the perimeter of Rhode Island, except to come here and do this show. Of course, if all goes well, I'm going to be buying a house with a basement. And a second floor and an attic. So I don't know. I may suggest just relocating this studio.
You might have some squatters available for you.
I was thinking more in terms of relocating the studio to a rent-free environment. Although I don't know. I think our landlord, I don't know what happened. He might be dead. I mean, I've been trying to locate and make contact with this man to pay the rent for several days. I was going to say,
it's pretty rent-free around here, so.
What's the point of moving?
Until we show up and there's a padlock on the door, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my fault. I've been trying to pay this man the rent for several days now.
That's when you say that you just locked the money in the room.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going far. Going to the wilds of, what would it be, northeastern Connecticut? If you head up Route 6, up Route 44, up there. Yeah, northeastern Connecticut. And the most disquieting to anybody else, very gratifying to me, is that, the girlfriend and I, we went up there looking a couple of times at houses. The first time we went up there looking at a potential house, it looked habitable in the real estate literature. We got to the front yard, pulled up in front of the house, and Chuckles the Clown would appreciate this when he gets here. I'm going to give him the address if he wants to do a paranormal investigation.
Oh, no.
Because I would swear that it's a one-family, two-story house. One of those, white picket fence around it. One of those
classically cheesy.
One of those quintessential middle-class.
Living the American dream.
Living the living American dream, which is now a nightmare. But, the doors are knocked in, and out in the weed-grown yard, obviously this house hasn't been inhabited for a while, but out in the weed-grown yard, there's a well that looks like it came out of an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Well, that should be positive in your world, though.
I said, it gratifies me.
Okay.
And the other thing was, in the yard, weed-grown, there's a child's tricycle.
Damn. Oh.
And it's covered with weeds, and it's overgrown with vines.
That's a plus and a minus.
Yeah.
Sounds like the opening to The Ring.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, and here's the point. Now, the house is obviously, the doors are knocked in. The neighborhood kids obviously have turned it into their local haunted house.
Yeah.
And I checked up on the real estate listings. This house has been available for about a year. Okay. How does that tricycle sit there undisturbed by the neighborhood kids long enough to grow a layer of vines over it?
Yeah, because that takes more than a year,
That takes a while. I mean, I give it a year. In a rainy season, but my point is, everything in this yard is undisturbed. Like, nobody dares touch it.
It's only like the teenagers punking and
they go in probably to smoke in the house.
Yeah.
But they don't disturb anything. They don't touch anything.
Well, they don't want to get caught.
Well, actually, I can explain that.
We don't want you to. Shut up.
Don't ruin the ambiance.
No, I live 2 doors down from a funeral home when I was growing up. And no matter what happens, you don't go in there just because that is just too creepy to actually go into that yard to move it. Now, I wasn't going to do like an actual physical, no one actually goes to it. What I'm explaining is, the neighborhood kids have built enough of a stigma on that house where no matter what happens, if you were to somehow purchase that house, you will be the devil incarnate.
Right, it would be ruined. See, and I am sensitive. So I couldn't even get the word sensitive out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you.
But no, exactly, Eddie, I see your point. Right now, and no, I did not make an offer on that house, tempted though I was. I mean, but believe me, if I had bought that house, that tricycle would stay right where it is.
Oh yeah, you got to mow a little patch
nevertheless,
around it.
Right? I did not make an offer on that house. But now here's the creepy or coincidental part.
Sounds like you should be charging admission to that house.
There will be somebody. Let me finish. Now, So we went back to the real estate listings, and again, my only criteria was Connecticut. Okay? Real estate agent calls me up, hey, George, we got another house for you to look at. Okay, give me the address. Go to see this new house. Wouldn't you know, in the whole state of Connecticut, the new house, which I am on the verge of buying, is on the next street from this haunted house, and the haunted house will be in my backyard. There is a gravel driveway. There is a gravel driveway and a fence, and that's all that's going to separate me from the house of the tricycle. So I'm looking forward to, explore.
That tricycle calls to you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to exploring the house in company of the neighborhood kids, spending a lot of time there, probably more time than in my own house.
You're going to have a lot of new little best friends.
We are. I mean,
You're going to be the most popular man in the
I'll
neighborhood.
tell you, the first time we pulled into this neighborhood, I just said to myself, H.P. Lovecraft, who loved to walk around old neighborhoods and
loved it.
Yeah, it's a historical section of Connecticut. All the 19th century, 18th century architecture, of which the house I'm buying is one. The haunted house is newer. Obviously,
kind of
maybe
like
that's
that 50s-ish.
Yeah, kind of the 50s-ish, the picket fence 50s-ish.
Yeah.
But not anymore. It doesn't feel like that. But
It was like 1850s.
So at random, hopefully my new house will have a haunted house with a tricycle in the backyard.
So we need to do a photo shoot.
We will have a photo shoot. We will have a paranormal investigation.
We got to do it all.
Probably a bonfire in the backyard.
How awesome is your real estate agent? Do you think they'll
Actually, funny you should mention that. The real estate agent is pretty awesome. The reason there's not a signed contract on this house yet is because our loan officer at the loan officer at our friggin' bank, who I hate right now, and I'll tell you, because they're delaying me. They're delaying me. We've been trying to contact this loan officer to tell her, hey, we found a house, you jerk.
Can you sign the piece of
Call
paper?
the real estate agent and forward her the, what do you call it?
The
pre-approval letter. Right, so she can
put the offer
to the seller.
Yeah, because they won't accept an offer until they see the pre-approval.
Right, I'll tell you, if I ever miss out on this house with a haunted
you're gonna
house
be
across
so
the gravel
angry.
road, this woman, back on the Chuckles Crypt show a little while ago, Chuckles was talking about all those Technicolor, really good-looking murders in those horror movies.
We're going to have
I'll tell you, this
film.
woman, I will, in the words of Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, that old 80s movie, I will rip her eyes out of her skull, and I will, I can't say the rest of that, can I, Tony Jones?
Yeah.
No.
We'll wait for commercial break.
Let's just say that a certain bank will be looking for another loan officer after I get done with this bitch. Okay, in the meantime, let's get... this is a pretty good segue. Because I need a couple of these right now to calm down. Let's go with New York Dolls Pills here on the Haunted Cabaret on Rhode Island Free Radio.
I was lying in a hospital bed, a rock and roll nurse going to my head. Says, hold out your arm, boys, or speak out your tongues. I got some pills, I'm gonna give you some, so you go to my head, to my head. A rock and roll nurse going to my head, to my head, to my head. As I was lying in a hospital bed, a little pill for my legs, but that didn't ache. Tried some pills for my heart, but a little too late. Got some pills for my love to try to get me at ease. When the rock and roll nurse
All right. That's Slayer, sex, murder, art. 3 of our favorite things here on the Haunted Cabaret. Yes. And like I say, and sex goes without saying. Murder, like I say, if that loan officer, costs me my haunted house in the backyard, that's going to be the murder. Art is what we create every episode here on the Haunted Cabaret. To say nothing of some of the other shows here on Rhode Island Free Radio. Like, for example, Chuckles Crypt. I mean,
you're walking on some really thin timbers there, pal.
Well, you don't consider what you do art?
No. No, I don't. I consider it noise pollution.
There is high art and there is low art. Don't worry. I'm not giving you credit.
Okay, so I got the low self-esteem, low art.
No, you have the low art.
Yeah, definitely.
You have the barf in somebody's face art.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Right, so don't worry about it. I'm not insulting you, Chuckles.
Kind of.
I'm not going to try to put you in an art gallery or anything like that. No, that's not what we're talking here.
Lisa, if you're out there, help me. Put me in an art gallery, please, if you haven't already. Put me in there, Lisa. This is Gorley.
Oh yeah, that's right, Lisa Gorley, photographer extraordinaire.
Great woman.
Yeah, she's got a show coming up at some point too, doesn't she? I'm gonna have to make contact with her and see where it is and when.
If it's at Firehouse 13 by principal, I will not step foot on that grounds.
What was it now? What principal is this keeping you out of our local hangout, Firehouse 13?
It is run by.
It was the poor handling of a charity event.
Okay. Yeah, the people that own that place, they're
didn't tell us they were shut down, and then days beforehand, oh yeah, you're still having your event here, right? We didn't even know you reopened your doors. We already booked another venue and everything.
Okay, so that's why it's under new management. Those people are now under Firehouse 13.
Yeah, new management, my ass.
That's why you would rather not go there.
Did another charity event, and the staff was there. I tried to go get a beer from the damn counter in Glennet. I'm in freaking clown gear, but my money's green, not white. And she turned her back on me and walked the other direction. So at that point in time, I'm sitting there going, okay, she doesn't want my money. This is strike one. And then I deal with some door dude that's in the back stealing beers from the bands that are supposed to be going up. And being as, well, let's put it this way, his rudeness made me look like a saint. And when that happens, there's issues.
Wow.
I mean, there's definitely issues. And when you're dealing with volunteers and people that are coming out to donate their time, when you treat them like garbage,
disgracefully,
yeah, they're not going to come back.
Like the way this building smells right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, no, there is not an exorcism going on here. I'm glad that this format is audio only.
Oh no, there is an exorcism.
Visual would have been okay, as long as we. What's the word? Olfactory. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad we don't have any olfactory third effect here for the show, because right now there is a stench coming out of the bathroom strong enough to open the door.
We are on a recently discovered Superfund site as posted outside of our fence here.
Yeah.
Right. And the best part of it is, now, I know most of our listeners haven't been here to the studio or this complex, but picture it. Come into the building, down the hall, there's the studio where we do our show, studio where we, bands practice and everything. A short walk down that hall, there is Tony, it's a bridal consulting firm or something?
Right, yeah, it's like a wedding planner.
Yeah, basically brides and their beloveds go to this place to have their weddings planned in all kinds of a warm glow of romance and affection. We share the same bathroom.
That's
and let's not forget the guys down below. No one knows anything about them, but they're up in that bathroom too.
Well, we assume that there's guys down below. We don't know if they're male, female.
They make interesting noises.
What species they're from. We don't
know
any of that.
They live here.
Yeah, all we know is that there's noises that apparently come up from. But now the point is,
they've been quiet tonight, though.
Don't jinx it.
I have had interaction with them.
Was it a fist to the face? Because they deserve it.
Don't ruin the bubble.
Don't ruin the bubble. I know, but if you've noticed, they have been quiet because I did inform him. Hey, look, at this time to this time, Sunday, Monday, and whatever, we are performing radio here. Can you shut the hell up?
Okay, stop right there, because I don't want to know the nature of the creatures that you've interacted with. I mean,
what did they look like? I do. This is Haunted Cabaret. What the hell did they look like?
They were kind of weird. It was.
Whoa. Explain. West Warwick weird or beyond?
Oneyville, New York system in Oneyville. Yeah. At 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Oh, so it's my normal fans.
yeah,
Wouldn't be
it's
that weird to
basically
me.
our fan basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have spent way too many hours at the Oneyville, New York system. I have seen the clientele that goes through there at that time of the morning.
Yeah.
And, it's spit an image.
And
But
Okay,
you're
it's
just
like they
seeing them in the
migrate.
daylight hours.
Okay,
which is
so
scarier.
all right, so where we are, see, what I was concerned about is destroying one of my longtime bits. You know, every now and then.
No.
Every now and then we'd hear the noises. I'd speculate on what exactly was making those noises. All right, I feel better now. We're good to go.
In all honesty, I believe you are only a 6-pack away from those noises firing up at any given moment.
Okay, that's reassuring. Now, combined with the smell, yes, combined with the stench, we are in our element. Basically, is what it amounts to.
You
So
know,
happy
there-
my left nostril.
Let me tell you something. There definitely was an exorcism, and there was some great ectoplasm that was coming out of a bunghole, filling that toilet.
Did you have a bad Milo moment?
Oh, I did, and I was sitting there praying to my evil gods, please do not plug up, because I have that issue. Like
The toilet or you?
the toilet.
The toilet, because Comic-Con morning, guess who had to waddle through feces?
Oh man, I have the ever so great popularity of blowing up toilets when I blow up. I'm telling you, it's an exorcism.
Who
all
was
its own.
who was following you into the restroom? William Shatner or somebody?
Oh,
Your new nickname is Meatloaf.
yeah, definitely. It's like strained meatloaf through a grinder, though. I mean, you don't even know what I ate the night before. It's like, what the hell is that?
But it's on the floor.
I was wondering why you had toilet paper in one hand and holy water in the other.
Yeah. Please, Heavenly Father, please don't clog up the toilet. I don't want to be cleaning this. And normally I try, but then I end up like I'm an evil clown. But the stench of my own poop, I puke on top of it. So
it's the
can't.
it's the combination of poop and grease paint.
Let me tell you.
It's that unique. Do you have makeup on your butt too?
Yeah, I do.
Do you
Actually,
go
I do.
like
It's-
you go head to toe? Then that's the problem.
Yeah,
you're
it's-
combining different kinds of chemical reactions here.
It's called Gold Bond. I get that summer heat rash, it happens when you get old
Right,
and
right.
fat. So I do. Let me tell you a story about bathrooms. And I know this is the Haunted Cabaret, all things horror, so this fits in. Tony,
You'll notice I'm letting this run
Yeah.
because I agree completely. Go ahead.
Tony Jones and I used to share an apartment together. And at the
You
time,
want to call it that?
yeah, he was dating one of my
hole.
relatives. And well, no, she didn't have all her teeth in her head. But he was dating her. And I'm not the only one that can plug up a toilet. And let me tell you, when you're roommates with a dude that's 6'11", and he plugged that freaking toilet up, and he made that poor girl every time. Now we wouldn't clean it for like 3 to 4 weeks after. Like we'd piss on top of it. Like we would take dumps on top of it because we were too lazy. So this toilet was like a 3-foot mound of crap.
Well, you were trying to dissolve the crap with the
Did you at least
ammonia.
pour
right?
some bleach on
No,
it
we
or
didn't.
something?
We sent Rhiannon in to clean it. Rhiannon, can you go fix this? And she'd go fix it, and 2 days later,
I
boom.
wonder why she had no
Because
teeth left. They brought it away from the smell.
There was some legitimate issues with the piping, and of course, if you contacted the landlord, he didn't care. You know? So it was like
It was a classy
constantly.
apartment.
Now here's the other part: because this place was such a dump. On a cold, wintry day, the door of the front door would blow open. So sometimes this poo mixture would freeze over
yeah, I
in the
remember
toilet
that.
because there was no heat.
The frozen sink of dishes, the poo mixture. Oh, yeah. This is great.
Well, I'll tell you, I know I've dealt with this shit mountain situation myself. Back in my first apartment, like you guys have all heard me tell the story of the girl that got shit on my sheets.
No,
Well,
actually.
Yeah.
No?
She has
Okay, well, that's not a Haunted Cabaret story. I'll save that one for my pre-getting married party that's going to happen at the end of the summer. Okay, that'll be the story.
That'll be your toast.
That'll be my toast.
All right, I like it.
Actually, that might be my toast at my wedding reception
Oh,
too.
no.
If I really get sick of the whole marriage thing really quick. I mean, but anyway, the point being that after she did what she did to my sheets, naturally she just went in the bathroom and finished. So.
Did she finish with the sheets in the bathroom?
She sta-
Like,
she
did
sta-
she drag the sheet with her?
No,
Like Linus, but with a shit blanket.
she started with the sheets.
Oh.
All right, look, there's no way to avoid this without giving you some backstory, right?
Oh, there's some backstory, all right.
Well, basically, She took a shit the night before. Okay. Thought it was all, mostly when you bring a woman home, right, and she goes in the bathroom at the beginning of the night, you say to yourself, okay, she's getting attractive.
Yeah, she's
right?
preparing.
She's preparing. Right. She's preparing for all the festivities that are going to happen afterwards. She prepared all right. This woman didn't put on perfume. This woman took a dump in my toilet. Okay? And again, Tony Jones has pointed out the shakiness of the plumbing in old houses. Right? I guess she took a dump. Now, after taking a dump, most women, I'm not female myself, but don't most women getting prepared for sexual relations, after they take a dump or any such thing, don't they...
Like
they
clean?
sanitize themselves.
Yeah,
right.
like
They're very conscious of this.
I don't.
Okay, yes. If his nose gets within about 3 feet of my crotch, I don't want him to smell this.
This needs to be
So
above and beyond.
It's extra effort.
Let me see if he has a washcloth around
Well,
here.
I think this was your fault for not having a bidet in your apartment.
It was somebody's fault because this woman basically came out of that bathroom. I didn't smell any perfume, but it's like, what's the difference? She had triple D tits, right? So what's the difference? I was led astray by that.
You were
Anyway,
distracted.
I was distracted, but not the next morning. I wasn't distracted because apparently I woke up the next morning side by side with this woman of the wonderful chest. The sun is streaming through the window.
You got a shizer.
It's a
Her
nostalgia.
areolas are lit perfectly.
They were lit perfectly.
Okay.
She wakes up, pushes herself up on her elbow. Boobs slide. Sexually
everything
to
seems
everything. Yeah, I'm ready to jump on her again.
All right.
Until I get up to go pee. And when I get up, she sits up on the edge of the bed, and I see this brown stain puddle in the middle of my sheet.
Oh, no.
And I say to I look at it, and I say, I can't say what, again, Tony's watching, he's giving me the evil eye here. What is this, perchance, stain, dear, on my sheet?
If you hear me typing in the background, that's me getting our legal department ready.
I caught that one. So anyway, I said, well, what's this brown stain on my sheet? Which, by the way, I had just washed in an infrequent washing. She says, oh, that's a cum stain.
No.
Thank you, Nurse Misery. Now, I don't know everything in this world, but I know that I've been whacking off since I was a young child. And what comes out of my penis is not brown.
The only plausible explanation is if her period was just about to end.
No.
It wasn't period. It wasn't.
Because there's like the brown after goo.
It wasn't brown.
The only time I want to hear period around here is if we're talking about history.
Yeah, it wasn't after anything.
But
It wasn't after anything except her after taking a shit.
Couldn't bother to clean herself.
Wiping her ass. Now, I guess if I wanted to, I could take this as a compliment.
because then
she was
the
in
cum
such
would
a
drip
hurry.
down.
She was in such a hurry to get back to bed.
Yeah,
that
so-
she didn't take the time to wipe her ass
Well,
properly.
If
That's all.
she's not
That's,
a properly shaven woman, then she could have had a nugget stuck in there and the cum rinsed it out.
it wasn't a
This
nugget.
is getting worse.
It wasn't a nugget. It was a puddle.
Oh no! That's
honestly,
leakage.
It was a dry puddle.
That's
So
just leakage.
I said to her, I said, that's not cum. I know my cum is not brown.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. I said, that's shit.
And he's familiar with that too because he's done plenty of Shizer videos in his older days.
No, can't say that I did. Can't
Well,
say
you did that night.
No, that was never a fetish of mine, and it wasn't a fetish that morning either.
Did you check your belly?
Because chest size or not, that woman left that apartment with
She
let's
had
just
the walk
say-
of shame.
let's
a
just
little
say
extra shameful.
she wouldn't admit it. She wouldn't admit it. It was like a friggin' Trump campaign debate.
But there was this
she
big
wouldn't admit
brown
she was wrong.
stain puddle
There was a
under her
brown
butt.
stain on my sheet. There was shit remains in my toilet. She
There was-
wouldn't admit it
she
was
didn't
her
even
fault.
flush properly?
She flushed it, didn't go down.
And then she
I
just
told you
ran
the-
and escaped.
She didn't run.
Well, she
didn't-
ran to your bedroom to escape.
Well, yes, to bring the blessings of her bowel movement into my bed. That's where she ran to. Then, as it turns out, then I find it worked out. I said, now after she left, I said to myself, her tits were so spectacular that I actually had second thoughts.
Oh no, you
I
almost
said-
called her again?
I almost called her again. That's how impressive. I said, well,
Those
maybe
must be some
maybe if
beautiful breasts.
they were the best looking set that I've ever been with in all my time on this
Oh
planet.
wow. But she left the poop ring.
Yeah, yes. So I said, I almost called her back. I didn't. But to make a long story short, to make a long story a little
Longer?
bit less long, I could make it longer. I mean,
Oh, this is great. Please.
well, no, I was consoled by the fact that she came out as a lesbian not long afterwards. So, in other words, I didn't really sacrifice too much
No.
chest-wise in
She
kicking her
swapped.
out of there.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's not
Not
like I
too
missed
many
out
other
on a
men
lifetime
got
of
to-
those boobs. You know, so it could have been worse.
I do have to chime in for just
Yeah,
1
yeah,
second.
yeah, make it 1
you
second because
you
we
have
have music here.
experienced something which very few people have. You have heard of freckling the bowl. You have had freckled sheets. That is the only thing. I had to throw that out there.
I didn't have freckle sheets. I had a birthmark on my sheet.
Your sheet
Well,
said
it's very heavily freckled, but it was freckled.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, radio history has been made because for the first time ever in all my years of doing this, I'm literally nauseous right now. And while we're on the air here, my girlfriend was kind enough to message me and let me know that dinner is on the table for when I get home. I was like, nope, wrap it up.
Well, I'll tell you,
for tomorrow.
as that great horror aficionado Stephen King once said, his greatest purpose in life is to terrify. If he can't terrify, he will horrify. If he can't horrify, then he's not too proud to go for the gross out. So we've accomplished something tonight here on the Haunted Cabaret. All right, let's get back to the music. Let's go with a little Opeth, doing an Iron Maiden cover, as a matter of fact. Remember Tomorrow, here on the Haunted Cabaret on Rhode Island Free Radio.
Change the colors before my eyes.
All right, that was Opeth covering Iron Maiden, Remember Tomorrow. And I think the problem around here is that we all remember tomorrow all too well. There's that disconnect between, and I guess, that's not exactly what the song's about, but when tomorrow, as it appeared in the science fiction stories, back in the 60s, the 50s, before our time.
In the year 2000.
Apparently we were all supposed to be living on other planets by now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We should be colonizing.
so if I remember tomorrow, it's kind of, in a way, it's with a sense of disappointment because we didn't go outward into space. Apparently, we've gone inward, right? Miniaturization, and I think that's what all those science fiction writers missed is the idea that things weren't going to get bigger and bigger; things were going to get smaller and smaller. Starting with the transistor, then leading to the semiconductor, the computer chip. I mean, we're going nano. So I don't. It's in a way, it's more fascinating than anything that those science fiction writers ever came up with. Like landing on another planet is cool, but they were doing it in, one of those silver spaceships with the fins and.
Yeah, versus the technology
versus
of
the
today.
technology we have today. I mean, go for a tour in like an Intel processing plant. That's what
Your jaw will drop.
Exactly. I'll tell you. Remembering tomorrow. That brings me now. Chuckles, we hadn't gotten around on your show. You wanted to discuss Superman, right? The Batman Superman.
I think
thing.
we'll wait though. I think we'll wait to
Yeah.
give him.
Because you're down to.
I'm down to what? How are we doing for
It
time?
looks like it's 7:43. So.
I'll mention this much. A lot of people have complained about the treatment that Superman's been getting in the movies, in TV shows, things like that. Some concepts. Superman was born back in the 1930s, if I'm remembering my comic history, right, Chuckles?
Correct.
There are some concepts that do not translate well into futuristic times, modern times, however you want to call it. Unfortunately, of the DC superheroes, Batman translates very well. Batman has made a seamless transition, from the old, film noir 50s shows and comics to now. Right. Batman is a character that thrives today.
Yeah,
he's current. There's no problem with that. Superman, not so much. I mean, Superman was created back in the 1930s. It was originally by Siegel and Schuster, two Jewish kids. Actually, Superman was a Jewish fantasy created by these two kids to basically give themselves a sense of empowerment back when the Jewish people were going through a really tough time, both as immigrants and then overseas in the Third Reich. So, and then it lasted, then it was transformed kind of into the 50s and 60s, adopted by America.
Yeah.
Like patriotism and...
He got stronger, represented the U.S.
And it morphed from a Jewish wish to an American wish. I think this is the problem, why people are having such a problem with interpreting Superman, and no matter how you try to do it on the screen, is that Superman is a concept that has outlived its time. I think the classic idea of Superman, the guy with the uniform, the S on his chest, the big muscles, the all-American good looks, and they're still trying to milk money out of that character.
Instead of evolving him the way Batman's evolved.
Yeah, I mean, in the comic books...
Batman hasn't evolved. Where do you get that? He's stayed the same.
Technology has evolved. He's been able to change with the times enough to stay current.
He's modified with the times slightly. I mean, it's kind of like putting new paint on an old building.
Exactly.
I mean,
his cars have gotten cooler and his toys have gotten
cooler. Right, but the character of Batman hasn't changed because it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
See, the character of Superman, like I said, I think the concept is,
good old
the
farm
speaking.
boy.
Yeah, I think it's run out of gas, as the saying is. Same thing with King Kong, another American icon from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, which is why Peter Jackson was very smart when he made the King Kong remake. He made a period piece out of it, and he kept it back in the 1930s. Because he knew
couldn't modernize
it wasn't, you can't modernize King Kong. It wouldn't work now. No. Now, of course, we still have the story around. I mean, Jurassic World is an update of the old King Kong story. So, the basic story is still good.
Yeah.
But, but all the accoutrements, if that's the right word, of the King Kong legend They don't work much anymore. So,
No, just-
Chuckles, are they still supposed to be making a King Kong versus Godzilla?
Oh, it's still on the books.
Is that a Peter Jackson film, or is that somebody? It can't be, right?
I
'Cause
don't think it is.
I don't think he would jump into that mess and try to screw it up.
I think it's the gentleman that did Pacific Rim, and the gentleman that did the last Godzilla. They're merging together on this.
Dear.
Not the Godzilla with.
No, Lovecraftian gods protect us. That is gonna. I'll tell you, if I didn't like the latest American Godzilla that much, I am going to hate this. And this is somebody, myself, that has been saying, I wish I could see King Kong versus Godzilla done right.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to do it, I think we were talking about this one time before, Chuckles. The way to do it would have been to set it, like Peter Jackson set the remake of King Kong, set it back in the 50s. Then you could have had something. Oh, well, I think, Tony, how close are we to the end here?
We have about 15 minutes left.
15?
Yeah.
Nurse Misery, your timing is off. All right, we're good to go.
17 at the time.
I will argue this: when they say that you do a movie, you do it well, they actually gave you a definitive winner in this movie.
Of Superman versus Batman.
There was no question on who won that battle.
I'll tell you, that right there impresses me. I've been holding off seeing it because I've been so worried that I was going to be disappointed. Because I remember, my idea of Superman versus Batman is the old Frank Miller comic, The Dark Knight Returns. That was an epic confrontation there at the end of that comic.
It was an epic movie, and I will say that it did take 35 minutes to get past the story. But when it got into the brutalizing fighting,
Yeah, the fight scenes
oh
were
my God. They were
amazingly
incredible.
choreographed.
Okay,
and
now
all
my
of
question
that.
was, now you had predicted that a fight, I think it was you, that had predicted that a fight between Superman and Batman could never be believable. Did
It was
Did they
believable.
accomplish it?
It
They
was
definitely
believable.
they accomplished it in many states. They made it very believable, and they gave you an answer to the ending that you wouldn't have thought would have happened.
Okay, that's going to make me
yeah.
go right out and check it out then.
I mean, you sat there and you would go, "Wow, I didn't see that one coming."
No.
And especially being
Nice.
a comic
That's-
hero, like I'm sitting there and I'm a fan of this guy and that guy.
And you didn't see it coming.
I didn't. I rooted for the other guy, and I said, it's going to happen," and it did not.
I'll tell you, that is the best recommendation to go out and see a movie I've heard in a long time.
Now, on the other side of that, I decided for some reason to take in I believe it's 1982 or 1983 Superman. And this Superman was a vehicle to make Richard Pryor a legitimate actor.
that wasn't a good motion picture.
I mean, it's there's some stuff on it that's racist by today's standards.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, he was. Yes, yeah. If I remember, I saw that just recently, a few months ago. Yeah, Richard Pryor. He was a racial stereotype, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I mean, even for 1983,
Yeah.
he was a racial stereotype.
I think you will like what they did with Superman before you count him out. I think you will enjoy the way that they're
I think they tried
presenting
to
him
make
to
him
people.
Okay.
a little bit more relatable for this.
Yeah,
time
more
era.
realistic, more relatable. I think you're going to enjoy that. And the other character that was a shocker is the kid that played Lex Luthor. Like, I saw that, and I'm like,
At
wow.
first, we were like, "Oh my
He's gonna
god,
suck."
really?" Then
And a
he
shocker.
pulls it together at
Oh,
the end.
and before I give this back to George, I had to say this on here. All you mother truckers that doubted that Ben Affleck could do it,
he was a good Batman.
he was flipping awesome, and dare I say it, maybe one of the best.
Wow.
Well, I'll let you know my own
Batfleck.
opinion. As soon as I see it, but that was actually a little, like you said yourself. I think when we were talking about this once, that was kind of predictable because you said Affleck is a lifelong Batman fan.
Yeah.
He loves it.
I
He-
mean, there's nothing better than a lifelong fan to bring a character
When
to
he-
life.
and you
I
could
mean,
tell he was a fan
when he
because
gets into
the passion
character,
came through.
Yeah, and he talks. It actually the fear that he was given into the villains was coming out to the
Yeah,
crowd.
you could feel the
it.
intimidation.
It's like, okay, bam, they just captured Batman.
And just
finally.
think, it wasn't too long ago when Ben Affleck was doing crappy independent movies like everybody around here does.
Yeah.
all right, let's go back to the music. Let's go with a little Dimmu. One of the clown's favorite tunes, I believe. Dreamside Dominions here on the Haunted Cabaret, Rhode Island Free Radio.
Fear
All right, we are back. Little Dimu, Dreamside Dominions. And I'll tell you, the Dominion of the Haunted Cabaret, we've just about come to the end of another one.
Oh, I can't believe that.
It's horrible. We've taped 2 shows tonight.
We've laughed, we've cried, and I almost threw up.
It's been
In other
a perfect
words,
night.
Great
There you
radio.
go.
Great radio.
All right. Rather than try to carry on the untoppable, so to speak, all right, I'm just going to say we're just about out of here rather than start a whole new bit. We'll see you next time. Hopefully it won't be a few weeks like it just was. But
A month?
Yeah. Actually, it was a month, wasn't
A month,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. What with the ghost hunting and a couple of illnesses and a few people died and
We made a good call weather-wise yesterday, or last week, though, because
Yeah.
I live where a bridge is recently shut down, and I could tell you all night I heard,
Oh my!
and yes, let's not forget the weather as a
Weather is evil.
it can be.
I like it.
It's not a bad thing.
You better get that
I
Bible
did
when we go
not
home.
say it was a bad thing.
Think about what we
Isn't-
just said. We're talking about whether we like or dislike weather. Weather. Not good weather, not bad weather. Just weather.
hey, there's personalities out there in the mainstream who have made whole careers about just talking about
Very
whether they
true.
like weather.
I do like Kelly Love, who says the weather.
Yes.
Naked news.
You mean
maybe?
Kelly Bates?
No.
No.
All right. On that note, we're wrapping this up. Let's get out of here. Let's go with some possession and growl vocals and death metal in Whitechapel, taking us out of this issue of the Haunted Cabaret here on Rhode Island Free Radio. Nighty night.